is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Breaking news from the Supreme Court. The High Court weighing in on a major aspect of the Trump immigration policy. Overnight, the justices issuing a decision to pause the Trump administration's deportation flights of detained Venezuelans, putting the executive and judicial branches at odds and grinding a significant part of Trump's agenda to a halt. Jesse Burns, senior editor at thehill.com, is live in Washington this morning. Good morning, Jesse. Tell us more about this decision.
Good morning, Hannah. Well, this essentially halts the Trump administration's efforts to deport a group of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador. Of course, this ruling coming after midnight on the East Coast. Definitely a sense of urgency on the part of the Supreme Court. Now, this was in response to a request that was lodged by the ACLU, which had asked several courts, including the Supreme Court on Friday, to weigh in to halt these deportations, saying that they had clients who had been notified that they were expected to be deported. Now, the Trump administration saying that it did not have any plans to deport anyone on Friday, but it said that it could deport individuals as soon as Saturday. Now, this is significant because it's the second time recently that the Supreme Court has weighed in on Trump's immigration powers in this way. And in the Supreme Court decision overnight, they stated that, quote, the government is directed not to remove any member of the putative class of detainees from the United States until further order of this court. Essentially, that applies to individuals who are being held in Texas, who the Trump administration appears to want to deport. The Supreme Court decision, it's notable, two of the court's most conservative members, Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, dissented in this decision. And so it's definitely a continuing legal battle ahead, Hannah.
I want to ask you right off the bat about this midnight Supreme Court decision and what this does to the administration's plans to deport these illegal immigrants. This has got to be a blow to the White House, no?
I wouldn't read that much into it. I think what's going on here is basically they're going to put a pause and maybe put some process in place for how to use the Alien Enemies Act. I don't think they're going to declare it improperly used or unconstitutional here. They're just probably going to put some steps in place to say you must do certain things under this to deport people. And they knew if people got deported beforehand, they wouldn't get that process. So my guess is it's going to move along, and the administration will still be able to use this. And the good news is it will provide some clarity as to how to use it, when it's appropriate, when it's not. That's my expectation. Obviously, I don't have any inside knowledge, but my expectation is they will be able to continue to use this, and this is just sort of a temporary bump in the road. And remember, these people, if they were going to be deported under that, they're still at least detained in ICE custody now, so keeping the American people safe in the interim.
So good afternoon on a Saturday afternoon when everybody's freaking out about the Supreme Court, except me and maybe some of you. Just realizing it's Easter weekend, Holy Saturday, tomorrow's Easter, we're heading to a sunrise service on the beach, everything's okay. Breathe. I don't know if it's because of clickbait. I don't know if people just want to jump to conclusions. I don't know if people just don't know what the hell they're talking about. But in any event, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. And let me have say a quick disclaimer here. I am not an attorney. So what I'm going to be telling you is my opinion. So I don't want anybody in the chat going, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me just preface it. It's my opinion, but I can read. And that's something it seems like many other people, especially the media, don't know how to do. Breathe, read, and then acknowledge. Understand what you're reading. So what I'm going to try and do today is use a number of different sources. And one of the sources is specifically the ruling that came out. We're going to go right to the ruling right now. And we're going to read the ruling together. And I think I highlighted some passages in here. And I want you to pay specific attention to that. That way you don't have to worry about what's being said on X. You can do your own homework, which I like to promote here, and go look and go, oh, yeah, not a whole lot to worry about here. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and look at something. This is the actual ruling. Boom, there's my head, so I can look at it too with you. And this is it. There were some dissenting opinions from both Alito and Thomas, but that paragraph above is the entirety of the ruling. So before we even get into other people's opinions and what people are saying, let's just read the ruling. And so at the beginning, it says, this is before the court an application on behalf of, a putative class of detainees. Notice all these different things on the news. They didn't even discuss what the hell does putative mean. Oh, it's you just can't use it. It's impossible. You can't use it anymore. The court came out and said right away, it's over. You can't use the Alien Enemies Act anymore. It's done. Oh my God, what do we got to do? No, on behalf of a putative class of detainees. And what that means in legal terms is just these guys. The people who filed the case. Does not mean he can't use it. Does not mean that it can't be applied elsewhere. It just means in this instance, the supposed group of people you're talking about, because we can't even and won't even define who those people are. We're just basically taking your word that these are the defendants. It is not a wide stretching thing. So let's continue. On behalf of a putative class of detainees seeking an injunction against their removal under the AEA. Now, this is where it gets important, and nobody in the news really talks to you about this. The matter is currently pending before the Fifth Circuit. It's pending. Another court has the case right now. Upon action by the Fifth Circuit, the Solicitor General, that's the person who's arguing this on behalf of Donald Trump, is invited, you can come on back to the Supreme Court, to file a response to the application before this court as soon as possible. the government is directed not to remove any member of the what? Putative class of the detainees until further orders of this court. And people who don't know look at this and go, he's screwed. And why I wrote on my little lower third there is that this is a process ruling. It is not a ruling on the merits of the law. It's a process ruling, meaning most of the time when there's going to be a Supreme Court decision, you file a lawsuit somewhere, I don't know, here in Boca, and then you get a ruling and the court in Boca says no, and you appeal and you go up to the next thing, and then you go to the next thing, and then when you lose everywhere else, you keep appealing and you ask the Supreme Court for a decision. Well, what has happened here, as you can clearly see in this ruling, is it has not gone through the entire process. As you read this, and I want you to go ahead and understand this as you're reading it. It is complicated stuff. This matter is currently pending before the Fifth Circuit, meaning Trump's team tried to jump over the Fifth Circuit and say, no, just rule on this, will you? Can we get this over with and be done with it? That's effectively what happened. And the Supreme Court came back and said, no, let them do their job. They haven't ruled on it yet. Let them do their job. And then if you don't like their job and what they do, if you're not really satisfied at that point, what happens? Well, the Solicitor General, Trump's team, is invited to file a response. But you're not hearing this in the news. You're hearing, oh my God, Chicken Little, everything's falling down. He can't do anything. And I'm like, Mom and Dad paid a lot of money, and my coaches in school paid a lot of money on scholarship to have me play football, but I did do some learning. I did do some educating while I was there. And I'm like, is anybody reading this thing? Is anybody actually reading the document? All they said was, pump your brakes, Donnie. Let these people do their ruling, good or bad, and then we will take it up. To me, this is actually a good thing. They said, we're waiting. You're invited to come back. Bring it back after they decide what they're going to do. Oh, and by the way, this only refers to these people in this box. Okay. The Tres Leches has nothing to do with MS-13. It's them in this box, the putative class, that's it, and only then after the Fifth Circuit rules. Oh, and by the way, the people who in that putative class, that box, they're still in custody. Bet you didn't hear that on the news either. I bet you thought it was like, hoo, 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 party time in LA Central, we can do. Oh, no. They're still locked up. It says you can't remove them. Again, you can look at it yourself. You can look and see exactly. Do not remove them from the United States. Do not remove them. Doesn't say anything about letting them loose. So you hear the news and how they try to amplify it, and what they're saying is to try and scare you, and then try to drum up support in their base by telling everybody the Supreme Court came and gave Trump the hammer. Well, how would the Supreme Court give the hammer when they say, come on back? Nobody's told anybody that. I keep showing it because I want you to focus on where it says, you're invited, please come back. Usually when I invite someone to my house, I'm saying, please come back. Please come and enjoy my surroundings. I'm not being, hesitant. I'm asking you, come on, you're invited to come back. You just got to bring the luggage. Trump went to court and they tried to do everything beforehand, just try to circumvent it, which is a novel approach. Supreme Court said, no, And it was 7-2, and the two, being Alito and Thomas, were like, look, let's just get it over with. Can we just rule on this and be done with it? And the other one's like, no, pump your brakes. Let's make sure we do it the right way. That's what it is. I'm not making it up. I can read. And I know the definition of the words. And so all these people that you're seeing all over social media playing lawyer and telling you he lost and everything's possible, ask them. Simply ask them in a comment. Hey, so where are the detainees? You know, the word detainees. Oh, I skipped over that word, didn't I? Did I skip over that word and not show you where it says that? The putative class of detainees. Nobody in the media is talking about that, are they? Did you know that they were detainees, meaning they're in custody? And nothing in this order at all says they get to roam the streets. And so people are freaking out, oh my, we can't, oh, hold on. These people are still locked up, and they're going through the process, and the Fifth Circuit hasn't ruled yet. And you may be thinking to yourself, why in the heck did they do this? At midnight or at 1 a.m. on Good Friday? Why would they do this? Because it's Good Friday. Understand. Basically, and this is complete, I should have a little thing, this is Barry's opinion. My opinion, and the opinion of quite a few others, is they didn't want to work this weekend. No harm, no foul, we'll take this up on Monday. It's Good Friday, it's Easter, and we don't want to be running back and forth to court over Easter weekend. They're detained, right? Yeah. So they're not going anywhere? No. All right, we'll see you Monday. That's basically what happened. Watch. You can come back on my Monday show and like, Barry, that's not what happened, man. They let them all loose. Oh, okay. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you to tell me, Barry, they let them all loose. And then when they don't. So what I was telling you about the homework in terms of contacting people over the weekend and, you know, hitting them up on X. Hey, are these people still in jail? And watch a lot of people go, huh? What? Are they still in jail? Do you think the Supreme Court said open the gates? And watch their heads spin digitally when they realize at that point, oh, yeah, they're still in jail. So we still got them, right? Yeah. All right. Let me ask you, you think this is final, or is there another judgment coming? Oh, no, no. You sure about that? You sure that the Supreme Court said it's over? No. Okay. Then what the hell are we talking about? I'm serious. I'm still going to do the show about, the rest of the show about how to do things to make money from home and starting your own business. We're going to talk about that. But I wanted to get in here and start talking about this and saying, chill, it's Easter weekend. Enjoy the family and the dinner tomorrow. Go to church, pray. He's risen. These guys ain't going anywhere. These guys are, in fact, it's worse for them. If they got shipped off to Venezuela or El Salvador, who knows? They could be sipping margaritas with a Democrat senator. But instead, they're sitting in some hole waiting on what's going to happen. To me, we haven't lost yet. So let me show you a few things. But you know what? Let me see if you guys get this. Let's see. I guess if you're going to troll, have a cool name. I don't know what that means. Must have been somebody in here trolling. Let's see here. ARP is supposed to advocate for old folks, not illegals. Barry is 100% right. This ruling only applies to the illegals being held in Texas. In Texas, and no specific ones. That's it. Nobody else. And, I don't know if it's the trolls or the media or some combination of both that are trying to make this out to be something that it's not, when it's very simple if you read the ruling. And so I encourage you, whenever something comes out like that, read the ruling. Pay attention. In law, it's very, very hard because they write with giant words. You're like, what? Can you just say, hold on, we'll check it out next week? Well, you have to have all this heretofore, wheretofore crap. I mean, it must be easier for the people who type it up. Hey, we're gonna pump your brakes and we'll check this out next week. That's all the ruling could have said. 7 of us want to wait. 2 of us want to do it now. So the 7 of us said, we're going to have Easter dinner and chill. That's basically what they're doing. But they don't put it that way. Putative class and detainees. Oh, so the Trace Lakeys just get to sit there all weekend. Yep. If I were them, I'd be pissed. I would be really pissed. All they have to do is let one go, though, and we're screwed. Yeah, well, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think, what's his name? Tom Homan's going to let that happen. I thought Donald Trump was the president of the United States, not the courts. In the end, this will hopefully come to an end. The Supreme Court, with this decision, did not strip anything away from President Trump. How can I prove this to you? Well, you know, last year sometime, I don't know, I'm going to call it last year because it seems like it was so long ago, today being the 19th. This was 2 days ago. Two days ago. Just understand who we're talking about here. Justice Kagan, undeniably one of the most liberal justices on the Supreme Court, just denied an emergency request for 4 people in the U.S. illegally who were set to be deported. They lost before the Board of Immigration Appeals. The Ninth Circuit affirmed. They asserted that they were victims of cartel violence and that they faced explicit death threats. And they said, sorry, that's not good enough. There's the door. So if Justice Kagan, 2 days ago, which seems in today's terms like, I don't know, 3 years ago, you probably didn't even see this. Nobody's talking about this. If Justice Kagan literally 2 days ago said, nope, you don't get an emergency request, that's denied from 4 people who are set to be deported. Can you please do something? No. They lost before the Board of Immigration Appeals and the Ninth Circuit affirmed. They're going to kill me if I go back. Sorry. So if one of the most liberal justices on the Supreme Court just 2 days ago said, yeah, Trump's right, you got to go. You're looking at it, right? I'll look in the comments here in a second, but how could it be that Trump lost last night on the 18th when the liberal justice said, you get no emergency stay. You got to get deported. I'm asking you. Did she have a brain fart or something? Did something happen and she didn't realize it, that she was supposed to let these people stay and go? No, this is very, very, very complex stuff, and they're trying to follow the letter of the law. So if I was one of these Trace Lakeys, or even someone with the ACLU, this would concern me. She denied the emergency request that said we're going to get killed if we go back, because they had already been subject to deportation. How could that possibly be if the courts were going to usurp the power of the presidency? But you don't see it. And because you don't see that, and you only see what they want you to see, and what they want you to follow on X, I mean, look at this. It's right there in front of people. It's very hard when the media is doing everything they can to convince you that, oh my gosh, this is horrible and there's no due process and everything else, and all that happened overnight was them saying, just follow this process, please. Follow the process. Let the Fifth Circuit do what they say they're going to do, and then come back. 80% of legalists lied about asylum. Yeah, reverse it. Can Judge Asperger please release them? He's crazy. Nope, he cannot release them. They do not have to. He does not have the authority to release them. They're not going to do it. I'm going to show you that in a second too. But I wanted to go through, make sure everybody was up on what exactly was happening. Bill Ackman had posted this. Bill Ackman, billionaire hedge fund guy, friends with Elon. He's very critical of Elon sometimes, but he calls balls and strikes. A nation in which one administration can allow millions of unvetted illegals into the country, but requires that a court vet each deportation decision in an individually adjudicated case will soon lose the values our democratic system was intended to preserve. If that is what happens, he's absolutely right. If we end up having a judiciary that decides they are going to be the presidency and the judiciary, then we have a serious problem. And I'm going to tell you what the resolution to that is, and we all better pray it doesn't get there. Because if we get there, all hell is going to break loose. So let's pray, especially here on Easter weekend, that the Supreme Court and these judges don't get to that situation. If they get to that situation, which I will tell you about, load up. That's all I'm going to say. Charlie Kirk posted something as well. I'm seeing a lot of panic about last night's Supreme Court ruling. Pause, take a breath. It's a temporary injunction applying to one box of migrants, pending a hearing. The full court has repeatedly upheld the president's power to preserve the border. It's not just me. There's other people like, man, chill. And I don't mean to make light of it, but because I can even see some of the comments in here, people freaking out. I'm like, stop. Just wait. They haven't done anything. People haven't been let loose. They're still in jail. Basically, they went away for the weekend. I don't want to deal with it. It really, I don't know, some of you guys used to follow Draw and Strike during the old Q days. And Brian Cates, who goes by his actual name now, Scotus did not veto the Alien Act. They ordered Trump not to deport these particular Venezuelans in Texas, quote, while the case is still in litigation. It's not over. Why can't people get this right? I don't know. What he says right there is so important. Why can't people get this right? And I think, to a good extent, it's clickbait. People make money by trying to obfuscate and lie to people and then light the fires, and so that they all run crazy and do crazy things. It behooves them to have you crazy. It behooves people who create content that instead of settling people down and telling them what's really happening, because they need that information, they don't say it, and then say, oh yeah, Trump lost and you guys are screwed. That's what the liberal media is, and the right media pretty much does the same, and they don't get into the meat and potatoes. They don't dig into the actual ruling. You don't even hardly see the ruling. Even that one clip, they showed you this much. I'm like, where's the rest of it about come on back? Nope, they don't say that. How many people have you heard over the weekend, or actually weekend, in the last 24 hours, who said the Supreme Court invited Trump back after the Fifth Circuit ruled? I'd love to know. Leave it in chat. How many people have said that they know that this is a temporary thing, and then we'll be back. Margot Cleveland, if you're not following Margot, she is a follow. You need to follow her. She breaks down every single ruling. Every single one. So, she went through it last night. Breaking. Last night, SCOTUS directed Trump not to remove aliens under AEA based on a, quote, putative class, meaning there is no certified class action yet. Putative. Very narrow. She goes on to say, and she's pissed. She goes, what makes SCOTUS' decision even more norm-breaking is that it acted before allowing the Fifth Circuit to act. Okay, so by them acting before the Fifth Circuit even acted, now the Fifth Circuit's basically going to be rolling dice going, is SCOTUS on our side or is SCOTUS against us? Which way should we go? Because they told him no, that they want to wait for us. And if everyone's now waiting for us, it's like, oh, is SCOTUS going to uphold us? Instead of saying shut up and not taking the case, they jumped the gun and said, we want to hear what they have to say first. And so now the Fifth Circuit is sitting there going, oh, so they're going to review what we have to say. Yes. They've already told everybody, we're waiting to see what you guys do over there. Everybody's playing patty cake and handball with this entire thing, waiting for other people to make decisions. So she goes on. She goes, the Fifth Circuit actually dismissed appeal and request as premature because it's a court of review and district court needs a chance to rule. So it's going to go way back down. Also, the key is what Fifth Circuit said. This is about named petitioners. A class was never certified, so why in the world is a court entering an order related to a non-existent plaintiff? All right, so that's a lot of legal mumbo-jumbo, right? Why in the world would the court enter an order related to a non-existent plaintiff? See, this is where a mistake that the Supreme Court did, because there is no putative class. Barry, you're confusing the hell out of me. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's go back to this thing, all right? So when you go back here and you look at what Scotus wrote, it says, the first sentence, on behalf of a putative class. And everybody else like, there is no putative class, bro. It's a couple people. It's not class action. And you got people going, what? Wait a minute, what? I'm so confused. You said it's a putative class as though it's a class action, but there's no class. There was no group of people. And so that's what she's writing here. She goes that this is about, quote, a named petitioners, a class, but they were never certified. So if there's no class, if there's no putative class, then there's no plaintiff. Who's the putative class? Oh, I told you it was Friday. We messed that up big time. Pivoting here to make a different point, I totally get Scotus's concern. It appears Trump administration is allowing only meager process that is not what is due. Although what is due is flexible under circumstances, and that is debatable. Now don't at me. Due process. Bottom line here, you can read all this stuff she had, is everybody's like, what the hell's going on? I know if a seasoned paralegal is like, this doesn't make any sense, then I know it doesn't make any sense to you. Because it doesn't make any sense at all. It just seems like everybody's wondering, how do we stop Trump? And the Supreme Court and John Roberts running that court, they don't want to be the guys to do it. They don't want to. They see that three branches of government, they're saying, can y'all handle this? And the district court judges have lost their mind, and they're forcing the Supreme Court to act, which is why they said, we invite you back, because they're hoping you don't got to come back. If these people do the right thing, we don't got to do it. John Roberts runs his court. He's completely feckless. He doesn't like stepping in. They don't want to have to step in. So what do? They punt. You guys take care of this. We ain't got time for all this. I got golf. I got to go to dinner. You mess it. You clean it. That's the problem with this Supreme Court and how John Roberts runs it. He doesn't like getting dirty. And because he doesn't like getting dirty, this stuff just swirls around constantly. Drawn Strike said this as well. You can't kill a false narrative with fire, but I'll take a whack at it. What Scotus actually said last night is Trump can't deport the particular Venezuelans, in this case, who are in jail in Texas. They're not going anywhere. While they have the case in litigation in the federal courts, the SCOTUS left the door open for gang members to be deported under the AEA who don't have a case in litigation in the federal courts. And this is not going to take a month. This will be resolved in a matter of days. Easy to see. This is their ruling was so narrow that if people weren't hyperventilating, they would have seen it's just these people just right here who have this case pending. That's it. This isn't precedent. This isn't going to apply to everybody else. It's these people right here. That's why they tried to define it by saying putative class. They want to make sure everybody knows it's just these people, even though there's no putative class. It pertains to the defendants or plaintiffs, whoever they are at this moment. Not everybody. I know some of you sitting back looking at the screen right now going, what in the hell? Yeah, that's how bad it is. That's specifically how bad it is. It is what it is. This is where it's going. I don't know if you guys follow Shipwreck Crew, and Shipwreck Crew had put something out as well, and what he had put out there was, hold on, let me find it. Okay. And Shipwrecked, he's an anonymous attorney, 22 years as a federal prosecutor. He represented 91 January 6 clients. Okay, so he's a lawyer. More on this tomorrow. So this was last night. What the Supreme Court say about the admin must do before it can deport any TDA members under the AEA. This. And he shows it and everything else. Notice they are subject to removal within a reasonable time frame and in such manner as will allow them to seek habeas relief. In the hearing today before Judge Boasberger, the government described the written notices being given, advising the possible deportees that they are subject to removal. The government attorney said habeas has been filed. Seems like the government met its obligations. Those who have filed for habeas review will not be removed until those matters are resolved, but they remain in custody. For those who have not filed, they could have as is evidenced by the fact that others have. Adios. You gotta go. So the first thing everybody needs to understand is these people are all in jail. And Boasberger, nobody else can make them come out of jail because they have cases pending. You're not getting bail. They're already under the auspices of another judge. Then, when Shipwreck woke up this morning, here's what he said. He said, my honest view of what happened last night in the Supreme Court, in the hearing before Judge Boasberger, this is going to be pretty interesting. The government said there were no flights planned for Friday. And the government attorney had no specific information about Saturday, but the administration reserved the right to take action on Saturday. So they're like, we don't have anything going today, but we might ship some people out tomorrow, meaning today. We're not sure yet, but we might ship some people out today. Okay, so follow this. The government said there were numerous habeas actions already filed in multiple courts. The ACLU attorney said the play was to have motions for TROs filed in all 94 judicial districts by midnight. The Fifth Circuit had a motion for stay pending before it, had not yet acted, with most of the information getting noticed, blah, 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 blah. So late in the evening, on Good Friday, with Easter Sunday looming, 7 justices said, let's take a break. Let's breathe. That's what it was. I agree. The Supreme Court's ruling from 2 weeks ago included the following language. And it says what it is. As it commonly does, it doesn't describe what reasonable time can be. You can read this and goes on, but the bottom line is, the Fifth Circuit has now acted, here. But with it looking like it was brought to break loose on Good Friday, that would spin multiple courts into having to act over a religious holiday weekend, the most religious holiday weekend in the calendar year, even for Jewish people with Passover. The court said, let's wait and see how things look on Monday. There's your answer. Long way, we spent 39 minutes talking about it, but that's the answer. The Fifth Circuit has now acted, so in Texas, where most of the deportation proceedings seem to be taking place, the process is working. Scotus can vacate its order. This is something else nobody's telling you about. Scotus can vacate its order whenever it deems appropriate to do so, and with the circuit now on record, it may choose to do so next week and let the regular process play itself out. Did you know that an order could be vacated? I'm like, all right, never mind. It's all taken care of. Can we just rip that up? It's done. Watch for that Tuesday or Wednesday. Watch after the holiday when people get back to work. Because government's just like you and me. They look forward to their long weekends. Every single one of you who still works didn't have to work on Good Friday. We're like, I got a 4-day weekend. Maybe if I got some time saved up, I'll take off Monday. So I'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I ain't got to go back to work till Tuesday. Well, if you feel like that, they feel like it too. It's no different. They are human. Hey, man, I got plans. I'm taking the boat out. We're going to be gone. I ain't coming back to court over this. But the media doesn't tell you that. The media lets you get into a fury and fan the flames of people in MAGA thinking it was all over, the sky was falling. Now, hopefully, you understand what exactly is going on. Let me take some comments. What a pile of dog poop Biden is to fly these people. Yeah. I work 7 days a week. Yeah, me too. I hope to deport the illegals will stay in place. I bet Scotus wasn't about to let this blow up on such a religious weekend. Yeah, whether they were Jewish judges or Christian judges. Like, wait a minute, man. It's Easter weekend. Are they in custody? Yeah. Well, what's the hurry? What exactly? The government should have known when they asked the question. When they asked the question in the hearing, are you flying anybody out over the weekend? The answer to the question should have been no. Okay, we'll take it under advisement. We'll talk on Monday. That's all. None of this would have happened. The government attorney blew it by saying, I don't know. Well, if you don't know, we don't know. We don't want anybody doing something, and we're not working over the weekend, so, hey, here's an order, stop. And, of course, everybody runs. But all he had to have said was, no, we don't have anything planned until Tuesday. And at that point, I'm positive the Supreme Court said, well, there's no emergency here. You see, they only acted because it was an emergency filing. There was no flights. There would have been no emergency, and there would have been no reason for them to even issue an order. They blew it. It was so stupid. I don't know, we might fly some people out. Well, then if you might, then you're making me put this order in. Idiot. Yes, it is a big nothing burger. God forbid they work. No, none of this would have happened without the open border. I agree with you there. Judges in the legal system, lawyers are, for the most part, carrying favor for each other. In other words, slow roll until the midterms. No, it won't get that far. That's the next thing I'm going to tell you about. All right, so I understand what that sounded like. It was like, oh no, so what they're going to do is just keep pushing this can down the road until at such time it's going to be midterms. Now, if you notice, Shipwreck said the same thing. Couple days. The media can't keep this up. The Democrats can't keep this up. It is a losing game. There's nothing they can do, and they know it, except try to gum up the works and try to make everybody see that they're gumming up the works. It's absolutely insane. If anything, I just wanted to show you that so you guys can all say, oh, I get it. Yeah, we just need to chill. Yeah, let me just see here. So just chill with that. Just breathe. All right, so I shall be right back.
back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, some of you may know a little bit about the NBA, National Basketball Association. And before they turned into the woke bastion that they are, it used to be kind of fun to watch. Down here in South Florida, and those of you who live in California, you guys may remember a player called Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal, in case you guys don't know, is this giant of a man, like 7 feet 2 inches tall, played, I think his playing weight was 270, 280, just absolutely monstrous. There was no defending against Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, if he wanted to, could score 40 points anytime he wanted. And so in his career, as he would progress, they realized we can't defend against this guy. So in essence, what I think we're seeing is Trump O'Neal or Shaq Trump, because the defense that the teams that he would play against would deploy a scheme called hack-a-Shaq. I can't stop him, but what we're going to do is we're going to just keep fouling him. Don't let him take his big body and come in and do a dunk. Shaquille's Achilles heel was he just could not shoot foul shots. Whatever the reason was, if it was a mental break, whatever, he was a horrible free throw shooter. And so defenses realize all we have to keep doing is biting his heels. Let's keep biting his heels, and this big mountain of a man won't be able to do what he needs to do. He's not Michael Jordan. He wasn't Kobe. He was a big guy who would use his physical stature, and he would impose his will and dunk on you and knock you down and do whatever he needed to do, and you couldn't stop him. There was no way you were going to defend against this guy who was 7 feet plus tall and 270, 280 pounds, and he was a locomotive. And so what you would do is bite at his heels. Just drive him crazy. And the parallel I'm making, if you've ever seen Shaquille O'Neal play, you know that's what they're doing. They are hacking Trump. They're playing hack-a-Shaq with hack-a-Trump. Slap him here, foul him here, do this. Just like a gnat all over the place. You saw that one thing, the ACLU is filing 94 lawsuits. Norm Eisen's out there filing lawsuits as often as he goes to the bathroom. Just keep going to the courts. Just keep going to the courts. And so every time they would foul Shaq, he'd have to go to the foul line, and he would have to try and make a shot. And I think he shot like something under 40% from the foul line. And that became something known as hack-a-Shaq. If you had a close game and you needed to catch up, as soon as he would touch the ball, slap him and take the foul. It slowed him down. It gave people a chance to catch up to Miami, to catch up to the Lakers. Didn't work all that often because he won championships all over the place. So it's not a great strategy, but it's a strategy nonetheless. And what we're seeing, in no uncertain terms, are the Democrats playing hack-a-Trump. Slow him down. We can't stop him. He's too big. He's too strong. He can score at will. And the only thing we can do is nip at his heels and just try to inconvenience him as much as possible. And maybe he'll slip up. Maybe he'll miss a foul shot like they did yesterday. They missed a foul shot. They're hoping there's misses. They're hoping because they know they can't stop him. Like, if this guy gets the ball, we're in trouble. Foul him. They foul Trump, and he misses foul shots. Not him personally, but the guy goes before the judge. Hey, you deporting anybody this weekend? I don't know. Okay, well, then we're going to have to pause till we get back here on Monday. That's a foul shot the guy missed. That would have been an easy shot. Count it. Count it. We're not deporting anybody. All right, well then we'll see you guys Monday. Let's go. Off to the golf course in the boat. Yeah, let's go. But they missed it. And so what you're seeing right now is everybody on the opposition is playing hack-a-Trump. And as they play hack-a-Trump, in order to continue winning, you must sink the foul shots. You cannot miss. You're up, you're winning, things are going well, and you can't miss. And I think that's what they're hoping for. And the media right now is flailing. I mean, absolutely flailing, trying to obfuscate and trick you and demoralize you and to let you watch this game and thinking, we're going to just keep doing this. We're going to just keep doing this over and over to the point where you get sick of the ACLU and you're pissed at Judge Bo Asperger because they're nipping at his heels. And the problem that the Trump administration is having right now is that his lawyers, the people who he's counting on to make sure things get done, are slipping up. They're missing foul shots, which allows it to continue. Where was that one post? Let me just show you where it said it. One of these things actually said that where was it? That they're filing 94 lawsuits. Oh, here it is, right here. The ACLU attorney said the play, their strategy, their game, the play was to have motions for TROs filed in all 94 judicial districts by midnight. They're going all over the country. File it here, file it there, do everything you need to do. Play hack-a-Trump. And so those of you who remember and saw it happen and watched when Shaq was playing, you now know the light bulbs should be going up. Oh, yeah, I remember that. They couldn't stop this big dude. He was monstrous with his size 22 shoes. You couldn't stop him. Except if you challenged him to make the easy shot, the layup. You challenge him to make that 15-foot shot. That's all you got to do. No one's touching you. All you got to do is stand here, take a deep breath, and make that 15-footer. And he couldn't make it. And so now you've got government attorneys, Trump attorneys are like missing the shot. They're going to keep hacking you. They're going to keep fouling you. They're telling you in advance, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do everything we can to slow you down, to hurt you, to make you double think about things, make your fans, your supporters double think. Because what were us fans thinking? So if you weren't a fan of the Miami Heat, or you weren't a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers when he played, or the Orlando Magic, you don't know this. But we were like, take him out. Don't let them do that. And we'll just win. Make sure you get enough of a lead and put somebody else in. We don't need him on the floor right now unless you need him. And see, what happened is we need these people to be on their game because we need to keep going because they're not stopping. And I need you not to stop. I need you not to get disillusioned or disappointed because you see this happen or that happen. Because now you know their strategy. If you didn't know before, you know now. All they're going to try and do is continually hack Trump. They ain't going to go anywhere necessarily. It may not allow them to win, but if they can keep following him, they're going to be okay with it. Because watch what the media has been saying.
Okay, let's talk about the polling, and then I want to talk about another thing you mentioned, which is the optics of it. But on the polling, because I think this is important. He's right. Trump has his best favorability on the issue of immigration broadly. But can I ask you to explain something to me? Please. You have some polling that shows Americans would be okay with everybody being deported who's here illegally. There's also polling that asks more specifically, if you have been in the United States for 10 years, you've paid taxes, you have no criminal record, but you are undocumented, do you support deporting those people? 63% oppose that. So how do we even make sense of these numbers?
Yeah, sometimes it's so interesting. You poll the public, and it turns out the public can hold conflicting views even within themselves, right? And it's part of my job to figure out, okay, where do they actually feel on the overall immigration picture? And I think it's important to note, as we have mentioned, is that Donald Trump's net approval rating on immigration is actually positive, which is very much unlike his first term. If you ask, are we on the right track or the wrong track when it comes to immigration policy, the plurality say that we're on the right track, which is very different.
So it's very hard because they keep polling and they're trying to find any leak. Where's the weak spot? What can we exploit against this team? And like, so if you've been here 10 years and you've paid your taxes and blah, 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 should they still be deported? And 63% say they're opposed. Why would you even ask that question? Think about why that would be a question that CNN would ask. They're asking that question because this looks like a loss. We can't stop them here. So we're gonna try and save these people who've been here for 10 years or so. They don't want those people deported. They're I'm sorry if you've been here for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you got in here during the Biden invasion. You might have to go, but we're gonna protect these people. And you're gonna say that right now because you realize you don't have much to go up against this team. And so you're going to, hopefully keep these people voting Democrat. Hey, we're going to make it safe for you. Why would you ask that? Somebody's been here 10 years, they paid their taxes, they haven't been convicted of anything, but they're still illegal. I would venture to say those are deep on the priority list. I don't think Tom Homan's wasting any time for that. But if you're a gang member, if you're a criminal, all these different things, that doesn't apply to these people unless it does. It doesn't apply to these people. Why is that even a question right now? Because this is a losing argument. And because this is a losing argument, you're like, oh boy, let's shift.
From where we were just a few months ago under Joe Biden. So yeah, you see those polling and you see it's conflicting. It kind of actually reminds me a little bit of the gun control debate, right? Where you say, oh my God, 90% background checks. And then of course you look at ballot measures in places like Nevada and Maine. And then when it's actually on the ballot, it's basically 50-50. In my opinion, on this particular topic, what we're really talking about and the metric we should be looking to is, do people like when they ask, do you like what Donald Trump's doing on immigration? And if the plurality says yes, which is what's going on, then that's the number that I think is most representative of the public at large.
Yeah, they didn't want to hear that. You saw the lady with the braids, Jamel Hill, she's crazy. They know. They know, and they wish maybe that Harry wasn't talking about the overall numbers in terms of people being deported, because that's what we want. That's what we voted for. And so they're trying to find where's the chink in the armor? Where's the weak link here? Oh, it's people who've been here 10 years. I don't care about that right now. What was it? 10 million over the last 2 years or 3 years? That's a big pile of people that Tom Homan and Kristi Noem can work on. Those people there, you know what? Those people, at this point, if you've been here 10 years in the country illegally and been paying taxes, maybe now would be time for you to run in and start filing the paper. Whatever you need to do if you want to stay here, because if you're not recognized as being supposed to be here, they're gonna catch you. Maybe not in the first 2 years of this term because they're focused on so many other people, but they're going to catch you. It's just a matter of time. The problem is that it will take 20,000 years to get rid of these people if the ACL presents every person as their own class. Won't be able to do that. They will not be able to do that. Just look at it's hard. The hyperbole is overtaking some people because they're not understanding specifically. The ACLU is going to file case after case after case. And the reason why they're going to try and do that is because one reason. And if you know the reason why they're still going to do that is because the Supreme Court has not ruled. Everybody's waiting for the Supreme Court to actually give the ruling, and John Roberts keeps punting. Okay, we'll talk to you next week. We'll figure, and it's only about these guys. No, at some point, Trump is going to have to force the Supreme Court and have to say, I need a blanket ruling. I'm tired of waiting. Because at that point, that's what we're all waiting for. The media, the other Democrats, because then we'll know with great finality what to do.
As you know, the court does not have its own police enforcement. It has the administration to rely on.
Which is the U.S. Marshals.
That's correct.
Who's been telling you this? I'll wait. Who's been telling you this? This is the Democrats' worst nightmare. They have no one to call. Even if the Supreme Court doesn't act, you think Trump's stopping on Monday, or you think things are going to keep going? You better be one of those 3 or 4 people who that square ruling covers, because everybody else load up. And the media can scream, but they're starting to realize it. I've been telling you this for probably a month. Who are you going to call? You can't call the marshals. You can't call the FBI. You can't call the DOJ. Who are you going to call? They're starting to realize it, and it's sinking in.
And so they are responsive to the Trump administration and not to the courts. This is the danger. When the courts become feckless and people can ignore their orders because there is no consequence, then the court's rulings become meaningless. And that is a dangerous road to travel.
Bingo. They finally figured it out. And they finally figured it out enough to tell people on television, oh, we're screwed. I mean, it looked like a funeral. The courts are feckless. They're not doing what we need them to do. And there's no way we can stop him. None. What do you do? Oh, it's a constitutional crisis. I don't care what you call it. What are you going to do about it? At some point, you have to realize, if you're the Democrats, we have the House, the Senate, we have the presidency, we have the FBI, the DOJ, and the federal marshals. We've got everybody on our side. You're hoping in 2026 you can change that, but you're not going to change the presidency, and so those other things still stay in place. You understand that? I want you to realize that. No matter what happens in the midterms, the FBI, the DOJ, the military, the Coast Guard, the Navy, he still controls everything. It's starting to sink in on them. Yeah, we have no leader. We're completely useless as a party. All we can do is try to fight Trump. And we've got these district judges that are making the stupidest of judgments ever. And Trump's not recognizing them because he's saying you have no authority. And the Supreme Court, who you're hoping would do something, hasn't done anything. And so it's almost like the movie Oliver. Please, sir, may I have some more? And then people go, more? I don't know if you guys have seen the movie, more. Till I've been hanging out with Robin watching her TCM movies. But in the movie, the kid wants some more food. And people are like, more? Nobody gets more. Because the Supreme Court gave you this little ruling, and because you had that morsel, it blew up to, this big thing about Supreme Court. They stopped Trump. No, they didn't. You were so hungry. You were so hungry. You were looking for them breadcrumbs, and you got nothing. And so this was yesterday. I mean, was it yesterday or this morning? When they were just realizing, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. We can't stop them. Can't do crap. You get nothing, sir. And it's incumbent upon me to let you guys know this, because I don't think you see the entire picture. They got a morsel that is basically, you better eat it now, because Monday or Tuesday that morsel is going away. It will not be available to you. That's why I sat back and went, that's no big deal.
Congressman Ivey, thank you for being here. There is, I've been talking about this all week, but Janae Nelson of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, she penned an op-ed in The Nation this week, and her op-ed talked about that we think that democracies are the way they die is dramatically through these wars and blood is shed, and it's cinematic in a sense. But really, the realistic way in which democracies die is it is dismantled brick by brick, piece by piece. And she says that what we are seeing now with the lawlessness from this administration are really the canaries in the coal mine gasping for air. I'm paraphrasing here. But to me, that is why Kilmar Abrego Garcia's specific case, the case of the gentleman who's a makeup artist out of California who was also sent to that prison. That is why the 75% of the folks who have been sent, the men who have been sent there that don't have criminal records, that is why this is so important. Because if they could do it to them, if they could snatch students off the street without any pushback or recourse, they will do it to any of us. And to be very clear, it's going to be the people of color and vulnerable.
Does that sound like a team that's winning? Because if I got a big win in the Supreme Court, which people seem to have been trying to tell you, and you thought you were winning, and at this stuff, would you be resorting to this insanity? And saying you're going to snatch people off the street, especially the black people. They're going to be snatching black people off the street. You just watch. That doesn't sound like winning to me. That sounds like sheer desperation. Watch what they do, how they act, what they say. Watch it. They're telling you, oh crap. This was two segments on, I believe both of these were on MSNBC. The guy before going, yeah, we got there's no way to enforce any stuff. Yeah. And now this one, it's like, they're going to snatch everybody. They're the body snatchers. Trump and Pete Hegseth and all these guys, they're just snatching people off the street, especially you brothers. Except nobody's believing it. You talk about a canary in a coal mine, you're one big, giant canary. But unfortunately, there's no oxygen in your coal mine, and that canary's about to fall over dead. Are you really starting to tell people things are so bad, they're going to begin snatching black people off the street? That's your message. Yeah.
Communities that are next in line.
I think that's right, and that's certainly part of why the African American community is so strongly behind the supporting Kilmar.
Yeah, we're like, we are not for this.
Yeah, because as you...
The African community is for the MS-13 guy that got yanked out, the Maryland man. Obviously, they have not seen their own polls by Steve Kornacki. If 64% of people were like, yeah, get these people out of here. Who are you talking to? The black people in the studio? Because there's not a single person I would know who say, hey, listen, we've seen what's happened to Rachel Marin. We understand what happened to her. Can we leave these people here? No. No. And there's no... It won't rub off, so I've been black for a while, maybe lighter shade, but nobody I know is going, hey man, you think they're going to snatch me off the street? No. Nobody's saying that. You guys can waste your time in your $1 million studios, but nobody is saying that. No one.
Just said, if they're going to whisk them away, what are they going to do with us? But the other point, too, though, is the constitutional aspect of this, because Kilmar's case has already gone up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court sent an order basically saying facilitate his return. The Trump administration is trying not.
By now, you understand that lie. I'm not going to go into the Maryland man and not going to talk about facilitate versus effectuate because he's sitting his butt in El Salvador. It's case closed. And he ain't coming back. So they're beating a dead horse with that. And now this next one, there's no place for them to go.
Do that. They're dragging their heels at every step of the way on that. And now we've got another track with Judge Boasberg where he's talking about moving forward with criminal contempt against the Trump administration. So we've got a separation of powers conflict here between the judiciary and the executive branch, and we need to make sure that...
Like I said, this was cut this morning. Obviously, he hadn't seen that another court said that Boasberger can't file contempt charges. It's like we're like playing tennis here with a rock, because it's going nowhere. They can't win. And so when you're talking about this and you have these guys on their shows and they have to lie and tell people they're going to be snatched off the street, that's not winning. That message is falling short. Besides, the more time you spend on this, the less time you talk about goodness for the people. You can watch CNN and MSNBC for an hour and I want you to tell me, you guys can endure it, pin your eyeballs back and sit there and write down when you hear something good about America. I challenge you. An hour to 30 minutes even. And tell me as you're flipping, you can anything? Nope. Nothing good about America. That's why their ratings are in the toilet, and that's why, especially on Easter weekend, people are like, man, you guys are in misery. Utter misery.
We back up the judiciary. He started attacking individual judges with threats of impeachment. You had House Republicans actually file articles of impeachment against some of these judges, 6 versions of it. So we've got to make sure we stand with them and support them. And especially interesting is, some of these Supreme Court rulings are coming from, or High Court rulings are coming from very conservative judges. The Fourth Circuit ruling the other day was from Harvey Wilkinson, maybe the Anton Scalia of the Fourth Circuit. And then the previous one with Kilmar, I believe, was a 9-zip, if I'm right. So you get Clarence and
9-zip what? They all been talking about it was 9-0 Trump lost. If it was a 9-0 loss for President Trump, why is he still sitting over there? Think about that. They've been saying it now for what, a week? Oh, it was 9-0. Supreme Court said you got to bring him back. Well, if the Supreme Court said he had to bring him back, hello, Midas. If the Supreme Court said it was a 9-0 decision that you have to bring him back, why is he still sitting over there? Anybody want to answer that? If it was such a resounding opinion, it was 9-0, you got to bring him back. Why is he not back? Because it didn't say that. It didn't say that. It said facilitate. What does facilitate mean? Well, if Bukele lets him out of jail, we'll bring him on a plane and put him back in jail here. They do know even if he did step foot here, he's still going to jail.
And Alito on with, Kanye, that says something, and we got to make sure that we support them in this effort.
The Americans are in support of deporting criminals. Absolutely. Violent criminals, it's like 97-1. Yes, deport the violent criminals, but they're not.
See, notice now, they're what you heard earlier on CNN. And when CNN said, let's talk about the people who've been here 10 years. Now they're trying to make the great divide. We've lost these people. They're gonna go. Sorry, we tried. Let's try and protect these people. And so now you're starting to see the new narrative arise of those people, we can't help you. Bye-bye. These people, let's try to hang on to these people. Maybe we could do something for this. So as you see the narrative shift, you now have to realize there's a win coming. You understand that? If you see the media shift to 10-year people who have been here and paid taxes, and they shifted away from the invading newcomers, they're leaving them on an island, that's something you may want to start smiling at. Oh, so you're basically understanding that this is a lost cause, and you're trying to pivot. Now, this is on the Bill Maher show. And Bill Maher says, he basically defines the problem right now, and it's something where you guys can start taking some comfort. On Easter weekend, I said, I'm going to do this show today, and I want you guys to have some comfort. And so you've seen now about the order. Now listen how Bill, who went to the White House, is going to describe today's Democrat Party.
In favor at all of the President of the United States defying the Supreme Court. It's like an 80-20 issue. He's on the wrong side of that. Okay, but so what?
if I may address the little shot you just gave me, so fucking what, okay? I don't understand this. We're at that part of the movie where there's a gunfight, and the guy, and then click, click. There's no more bullets in the gun. We have no power. So how do we handle this? And Gretchen Whitmer showed us one way. Can we show that picture? Because she was in the Oval Office, same place I was a few weeks before. And this is what she did. Okay, I think there's a couple of ways to handle the Oval Office, and this is not the way I chose. You don't want to talk to people? You have no power.
You have no power. This is a guy, one of the strong lefties out there going, you got nothing else. You're throwing rocks. You're throwing spitballs. You got nothing. And it's hard because, when you see comments like this, the Dems are winning. This crap is taking too much of Trump's agenda. You want to explain that? Because I'm pretty sure he's signing executive orders every single day. Just about. I'm pretty sure gas prices are lower for most states. I'm pretty sure grocery prices are lower in most states. What agenda has all this immigration stuff stopped? Pretty sure USAID and many of these other things have been stopped. I'm pretty sure people have been fired and put on leave and given the opportunity to be bought out and not keep their job. What agenda is being slowed? You wrote it. Some people think that. I don't see it. I look at it as just like I showed you. Life is getting better daily. Every single day when we venture out here, there's more people in the store, more people spending money, more people enjoying life, more people not mired into what Scotus is or Scotus isn't doing. Let me ask you a question. When you walk out your door, as an individual, not watching the media, when you walk out the door and you head to the store, the dry cleaners, the movie theater, a restaurant, are you seeing tons of illegals on the street? Forget the news. Just think about it for yourself. Are you seeing a whole bunch of illegals? Nope. I don't see them. Are you seeing progress being made? Where I sit right now, there are 2 housing developments being built, ground up. They paved over some farmland, not paved, but they cleared farmland and they're building houses. 500 in this development, 850 in this development. People working. People enjoying life. People going out. Where are you seeing the doom and gloom? On television. That's where you see it. Think about it. Don't let me put words in your mouth. You see it on television. You see it on X. Use your own daily life. Be your own focus group. Go outside, touch grass, go to the mall, if people still go to malls. You know what's the other thing too? Is if you see there's an open house for sale in your area, go to the open house. Are the people looking to buy the open house? Are they getting traffic? Look at places of commerce. Look at and see what people are doing. You won't see it. You won't see CNN and MSNBC. Ashley and her husband are flying to the Dominican Republic in a week or so, and they're going on vacation with another couple. And when they come back, hopefully we'll be spending time because they have to land in Miami. And right when she gets back, there's a huge event here in South Florida. Robin and I will be there. It's massive. Tuesday night, the Florida Panthers are playing in the NHL hockey, the Stanley Cup, not the final, but the playoffs. We're going to go to the arena and watch the game, which I won't be broadcasting Tuesday night probably. Packed, sold out, had to go through a broker to get the tickets. So I'm just saying, as you live your life tonight. Last night I was supposed to go play poker. We couldn't play. Robin wasn't feeling well. We're going to go play poker tonight. I guarantee you the casino's going to be packed. No illegals. No newcomers. Tell me where you see the doom and gloom. Yeah, I told my son that I noticed I'm not seeing groups of Hispanic men alone since President Trump took office. How are we losing? If you didn't watch television or go on X, what would you think is really happening? Our newcomers are considered refugees. 30,000 in 1 year, Ohio. Visiting family in California in June. Yes, you're living your life. Democrats in media are using fake gold to play. Exactly. What's this one? Barry, this is stupid. Trump right now is working on aliens who are criminals, terrorists. Give them the opportunity of what the America wants. Yeah, you're right. It all makes. Oh, yeah. The Miami Heat also made the playoffs down here. Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers. We got three Florida teams in the playoffs because they're playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. The hockey team is. So I'm telling you, things are great. Because nobody cares what these Democrats are saying. Even the Democrats don't care. I'm pretty sure when we're sitting in an arena and there's 20,000 people in it, nobody's going, are you a Trump supporter? No, right now I'm a Florida Panther supporter. All right, what's up, bro? Go shopping at Martha. Exif, Pam Bondi, Cash Patel are doing great for America's people. Look, my president is on track. What's it say, Barry? No workers at Home Depot or Lowe's. I just got back from a cruise. Yeah, live your life, man. Gas is $2.75 here in Georgia. Absolutely. Razorback said, I never said we were losing. If they continue to get the media time, there's a win for them. No, I wasn't accusing you of being mired in it. Your statement was it was getting Trump agenda slowed down, and I'm telling you, it hasn't been slowed down. I just watched, and people who were here yesterday watched President Trump sign an executive order to allow the Samoan and Hawaiian fishermen to go ahead and fish in waters that they were precluded from fishing in. Those people looked really happy. They were singing songs. They get to go back to work and fish. So anyone who thinks that this is hurting Trump right now isn't paying attention to life. Unplug. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. So I'm just saying, it's to me, it's working well. Let me see this. Okay, I get to show you guys right now the blankie, the Trump blanket. Let me just grab it here. It's inside out. Some people, if you have a problem ordering any of this stuff, be sure to email me so I can get a hold of customer service. But this is, let me make sure I'm holding it up correctly. Is this the one? Yeah, President. This is the Trump blanket. And I turn it this way, and you can see Donald Trump. And it's a pretty large blanket. Like I said, my wingspan is like a little bit over 6 feet when I was measured playing football. And you can see that's my wingspan, and it's pretty large. Well, in any event, this Trump blanket is available to you now. Patriot Addict is back with another exclusive release just for the Fanfare family. For a limited time only, they're giving away these free Trump presidential blankets, which will probably come in handy, I'm telling you, when we go watch the hockey game. Because if you have never went to a hockey game, it's cold. It's cold inside that arena. So you can order this by going to the QR code right here. For limited time only, no hidden charges, no recurring fees, none of that. Just cover a small shipping fee and it's yours. This blanket is gorgeous, thick, warm, and decked out with patriotic pride. Let me just show you the whole thing. That's the whole blankie. Just imagine wrapping yourself up in this in a hockey arena or a football game come fall, or just sitting by your couch watching television. It's more than a blanket. It's a bold symbol of America's comeback and real leadership. Patriot Addict is doing this to show their support for Trump in these challenging times and to make room in their warehouse, but this offer is only available to our viewers, Fanfare family. And it's moving fast. Just scan the QR code now, right there, or head over to, well, actually, we don't have the link. Do I have the link? No. Just, so you're going to have to, wait a minute, yeah, you're just going to have to scan the QR code right now. We don't have the link that they were going to give me, but once they have that, we'll do it. All right, so scan the link, get your blankie, be ready. And now I'm going to talk to you about something else. Change. Done with the politics. So, those of you who only come for the politics, now would be the time maybe you could, if you don't want to stay. I had done a poll 2 days ago, and in that poll, I had asked people, would you be interested in learning about some home-based businesses and things of that nature that you could possibly do at home? And whether you're retired on a fixed income, and I think it was like 90% of people said, yeah, show me. So I'm going to show you. We're going to spend a little bit of time on it, not a whole lot of time. And then if people want more information, I would gladly provide you more information. There was someone in the chat who, when I mentioned this, said in the chat that you need money to make money. I will tell you firsthand, that is a self-limiting belief. It is an absolute lie. It is meant to be said to people who don't know any better. If people tell you that you need to have money to make money, those are people who probably don't have any money. Those are people who are standing in your way of success. So what you have to do is open your perspective and talk to people who can help you. And then when I say help you, I'm not just talking about provide you with money, but can provide you with knowledge and show you the path where to go. It just drives me crazy when people ask other people who don't know what they're doing, what do they think? Because when you do that, you're guaranteed to stay where you are. There's no way I could ask somebody to show me how to make a souffle who's never cooked. Because they'll tell you, oh, you put some eggs in a pan and what do I do? Oh, it's too much hassle. Don't worry about it. Just scramble them. Oh, okay. And that's what happens to people. You'll see some people in the chat here. Oh, money is the root of all evil. I'm not even going to acknowledge that today. This is for those of you who are like, yeah, show me something. Show me what I could possibly do. And I'm not going to show you any pie in the sky thing. I'm not even going to talk about real estate right now because that's too complicated. When I say complicated, you have to know a whole lot about real estate in order to understand what's going. I'm talking about things that probably within 30 days you can get a handle on. And I've had people say, what in the heck and how is that possible? Well, I want to show you something. It's a secret. It's a secret that a lot of people are using, a lot of young people are using right now to get ahead, which is why the younger generation is different and not aligning with Democrats because they're seeing prosperity in real life. And I'm not talking just about the OnlyFans or people with YouTube channels. Other young people are going, hey man, I can do this and what are you talking about? I don't want Trump. I don't want a politician to take this away. I want a politician to help me win. So I'm going to show you the key to an ugly business. See, I used to buy, quote, ugly houses. And the key for an ugly house was, and I used to take Robin, I think I may have mentioned it here, it was when Robin would see a house and she went, ew. I knew right then when she said, ew, like, there's money there. I called it the ooh factor because I knew if this thing, when she walked in and went, ooh, that's disgusting. And I'm like, yeah, baby. Yeah, we gonna fix this up. We gonna cash in. because I knew the bones were good. I knew the neighborhood was good. And I'm like, this is, I want to buy an ugly house. The key to real estate when you're in that kind of flipping business, the key was to buy the worst house in the best neighborhood. Not the best house in the worst neighborhood. Because nobody wants that. I want to find the worst house in a good neighborhood. That was the key. The key to ugly businesses, and this is going to sound very simple. Oops. It is. The key to an ugly business is that a lot of people on the front end of the bell curve are going to be, maybe I should fix this. I need this to happen. That's the front end of the bell curve. And then the middle of the bell curve is people who are like, damn, I wish there was someone who could fix this. And on the far right end of the bell curve are people who said, I can fix this. The key to making money in an ugly business is to be on the far right of that bell curve. That 1 to 2 to 3% who's like, I can fix this. That's it. You win. That's it. We can turn off the video right now. That simply is it. There's somebody on Twitter who I have followed for quite some time. And she wrote this. You want to make more money? Focus on problems, not products. See, everybody wants to sell something. And everybody, whether it be a camera or whatever, everybody wants to sell something. But in order to sell something, you got to be able to buy the inventory, have the shipping, have everything put in place. And there's so many different things that can go wrong. But if you simply solve a problem that somebody else needs fixing, there's a business. Want me to prove it to you? Since I was, 6, I've been going to a barber. First, I was forced, and my dad would drag me, and then you get older, and you go yourself. Think about that for a second. A barber is someone who completely works on fixing a problem. You see, your hair is all jacked. Back then in the days when we had the big froze, it was seriously jacked. And he would, you got to fix me up, man. And you can see barbershops across the country who only exist to cut hair, shave, do different things. Ladies will pay hundreds of dollars just so that their hair can look right. There are some people who go every single week to make their hair look right. They define this. I should go get my hair done. Damn, I wish someone could fix my hair. And then they find someone, I'll fix your hair. I'm good, pay me. And so that person who's fixing that hair puts together a book, a clientele, and they get to the point where they can make more money because they're solving a problem. Cody actually also said this, and this is very true. Your path to your first $100,000 today. Your path. Get a job, i.e. start a business, that pays you more if you do more. Understand what that number 2 is. It'll pay you more if you do more. You see, most people go to work, they work 9 to 5 or whatever, and they do the same thing every single day, and it doesn't matter if they do it well or they suck. They're going to get paid the same amount every 2 weeks until the boss says you suck and you can't work here anymore. But there's nothing they can do, for the most part, that allows them to go above. If you're a hamburger flipper, keep flipping hamburgers. Maybe one day you can be a manager. That's not going to change. Now imagine if you walked into McDonald's and McDonald's said to you, you know what? We're going with a completely different pay structure. Okay, what's that? We're going to pay you $300 a week to flip burgers. Right. But for every burger you flip, that we sell, we are now going to give you an extra 10 cents. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you look at it, the job, the business that pays you more if you do more. I'm doing it right now. Hey, I can do one show a day. I can do it Monday through Friday only, or I can drop in and do a show on Saturday and Sunday. Because it pays me more because I am doing more. I could buy a house and fix it up and sell it, or I can do 2 houses and fix them up and sell them, or 3 houses and fix them up and sell them. It's something that pays you more because you're doing more. These are such elementary ideas that I'm sure some of you are like, what? Yeah, it's that simple. You sell donuts? Sell more donuts. Go to more stops. You're a caterer? Get more clients. You don't want to be in a position where you have a fixed income. And I know some of you right now like, Barry, what the hell are you talking about? I'm 69 years old. I rely on Social Security. What I'm trying to tell you is don't. This is where things differ. Too many people have accepted, and let me just put a disclaimer. I understand if you're disabled or have some sort of physical infirmity. That's different. But even then, we can show you how to get above that, around that as well. The data Republican can show you that's how you get around that. So, if people change the mindset and say, I don't work 40 hours, I work as many hours as it takes for me to make this much. It's a completely different mindset, because once you get to that kind of mindset, you say, here's my number, and I'm going to work to get to that number. And then what happens when you get to that number? You're like, well, what about the number above that? What do I need to do to go from, so I started here, I got to here, yeah, I'm here. Now I'm going to go to here. And there's nobody stopping you at those levels except you. And it sounds like a sales pitch, but I'm not selling you anything. I'm just telling you, I've done that my entire life. I hate it. I could probably have a successful construction company right now, because that's what my dad had. And when my dad passed, I'm like, I don't want to do construction. I want to have fun. And big bone of contention. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that every day. So I'm going to do different things. I failed a lot. I've made money. All different things. The bottom line with everything, though, is do something that pays you more if you do more. These are simple credos. And Cody's number 3, mimic everything the top performer does. Well, if you're going to make donuts, and the most successful person who makes donuts has a store on every corner, then you need to get out there and find an account at a 7-Eleven or account at some other WikiWack convenience store and get as many accounts as you possibly can. Why? Because they're showing you that's how it works. When I started doing YouTube, everybody who does YouTube, the first person you look at is Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, if you don't know who he is like Mr. YouTube. And I realized really quick, I can't do that. And my audience, my community that I want to build, that's not going to work. You can't have all these quick changes and can't do it. I want to mimic the performer I want it to be. My performer was Rush Limbaugh in video. I'm like, how's he doing it? Here's what we do. So that's why our show is a little bit different. That's why they're longer. I have stuff to say. I have stuff to relate. And you guys have proven to me that this is something we should be doing. So I keep doing it. Number 3, get in early and stay late. If you think you're going to punch a clock when you're doing your own thing, go ahead and turn off the video. You're done. You already have a predestination. There's no such thing as a clock. In fact, as I sit here, there is no clock except for on the corner of my computer, which I can barely see when I'm looking on camera. And of course, there's one on my phone that's black because I'm not using it. Other than that, there's no clock. The only clock I am basically attuned to is if Robin opens the door and says, we gotta go. that I know I need to be somewhere. Other than that, you grind. Other than that, you grind, because if you want more, you do more. And if you do more, you make more. So I hope you're following along so far, because this is the recipe. It is literally this simple. You don't got to go to college. Find something that'll pay you for what you do. Find something that'll pay you more if you do more. And find something that you're happy with, because you're going to spend a whole lot of time doing it. There is no clock. All right, next thing she says is, do it until you can't possibly earn or learn more. You know what that is? That's commitment, because it never stops. It never stops. Proof. Use myself. Ashley, we got to do this. We could do more. We could do this. Hey, what about this Rumble thing? What about it? Oh, Rumble says if you do this, we can do this. Oh, okay. So if we also broadcast on Rumble, what do I have to do that? Oh, you're going to have to do this, this, and this. Oh, and is it a fixed amount? No, because when you talk about the red knives or the blanket, they pay you more. Oh, you keep learning. Didn't know what Rumble was. Many of you didn't know what Rumble was. It just came on the scene. But I learned. What's another thing we could do? Interviews. Oh, have you done interviews before? Well, now we'll start doing interviews. Until you can't possibly earn or learn more. See, what she said in that tweet is that there's nothing to stop you from keep going. This channel ends when I can't learn more. There's nothing else to learn. Many of you asked a long time ago, hey, Barry, what's going to happen when Trump's elected? You're not going to have anything to talk about. Oh, really? We found out. Keep going until you can't possibly earn or learn more. Then her last one is, then apply for a higher paying job or start another business. If you got this one going and it's working and you get to the pinnacle and you can't move anymore, start another business. Barry, keep selling houses. Well, the housing market wasn't as strong as it was before. It slowed down. Let's make YouTube videos. We're still at this. Still got this one. But you start this one. I'm like, wow, okay, what's next? Well, now it looks like we can go back to doing some real estate and won't even tell you some of the stuff we have in works. Instead of looking at single family houses, we're looking at doing multifamily. Now here's a big question for you. You're going to die when you hear this one. Real estate, YouTube, Rumble, buying apartment buildings. Guess how much money I have invested? I'm gonna take some comments and and just let you guys think about that for a second. How much do you think I invested to buy houses, and how much I invested to start what I'm doing right now? And I'm telling you directly because this is something that you're looking at somebody who's telling you specifically what that number is. So let me just think. I don't see anybody. Well, anyway, let me just tell you. You're right, CC. Nothing. Not a dime. Well, let me rephrase that. Let me back up. My first house I ever purchased, I was a bird dog for somebody. I made money, and you just kept going. Nothing. YouTube, camera, 2 lights, microphone, and editing software. Probably combined $2,000. Buying apartment buildings doesn't cost anything. Robin she's a real estate agent. I'm a real estate investor. Her license, she went to school, cost about $150 back in 2001. She's been an agent for 24 years. Every 2 years you have to renew and take tests and stuff. It's like $50. That's it. Because that guy who said the other day to you got to have money in order to make money is a liar. He probably doesn't know any better. And every time I see people say that, I just about go, yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea. What you need more than money is hustle and knowledge. And so the first thing I would tell anybody moving forward here is, whatever I show you, if you're interested in something, start learning about it. Understand what you're getting into. Understand who your competition is. Understand the ability of you to survey a certain neighborhood or neighborhoods. What's your radius that you can work with? And then where can you lean on for help? Where can you lean on for equipment? What can you do? That's the first thing, because then you assess. I remember the first time I went driving, as they used to say, driving for dollars, looking for houses. And I've said this before. Guy told me, I want this, I want this, I want this in this neighborhood. This is how much I want to pay. Go find me something. That one. Hey, I found one. Okay, let's do it. His money, not mine. He paid for my knowledge. He paid for my ambition. He paid for my gas. He paid for everything I needed to know, and then said, here's your share. I was like, whoa, whoa. Scout's on it. Robin will tell you. I came home and said, honey, he just cut me a $5,000 check. She's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, he cut me a $5,000 check. And the first question out of her mouth, how much did he make? I don't care. She's like, you better find out, because we need to see where this is going. Hey, Bill, hey, what'd you make on this? Oh, well, I did this, and we pocketed 75 grand. Oh. So what? You paid me 5 grand, you made 75? Yeah. See, that's the difference. The guy with the money makes the money, and he's willing to pay you to go do something. Years later, what ended up happening? I did the same thing. Go find me stuff. And if you find me stuff, I will buy it from you. Talk to the mailman, talk to this person, that person, lawn services in different areas. Hey, if you get to a house and you see the grass is overgrown and there's nobody there, holler. Didn't cost them anything. Same way. So, that being said, let me just tell you. Stephanie said, I watched YouTube and learned how to fix my garbage disposal and my dishwasher. So once you've done that, Stephanie, how many other people you think have had that same problem? And it always amazes me with blue-collar people and how the elites look down on blue-collar people, because my wife's nephews are both in the HVAC business in Las Vegas, where it's real hot out there in the desert, and they're both pulling down $100,000 plus just fixing AC and just getting clients, and because it's going to break down. Every spring, your AC needs a tune-up, needs this and everything. All right, so now, that being said, yes, John, I was a wholesaler. That's exactly what I was. All right, so now I'm going to show you, and all I did was I found this guy on X, and he wrote a thread, and in this thread, I'm just going to show you. These are all businesses. Okay, you're going to go, oh my God, I missed this. No, you haven't missed it. You have time. Even if you're 70 years old, you have time. All right, you're right, because you're going to go this and go, oh no, that seriously? Yeah, okay. This is just one, all right? Some ugly businesses for you. Mike Cleans. Everyone's worried about the recession, but not those who own essential service businesses. Mine makes $40,000 a month. Here are the 8 best options right now. And this one is landscaping. And you go in and you make things look nice, pretty, cut grass, do whatever you need to do. That's a house I would buy right there that he's cleaning up. I always had to call landscapers. Yeah, you look at that. This is a commercial property. And some of you are saying, well, I physically can't do that. There's no way I can do it. Well, can you physically use the phone? I know you can because you're watching this video. So, if you have the ability to work on the office side of things, and you go ahead and create the business, and then you say, hey, listen, I'll pay you to go out and do this and do this and do that. You think you could find some people who might want to make good money mowing something? If you're making $40,000 a month, how much could you afford to pay a crew with a truck and everything else? But Barry, where do I start with a truck? Well, you can start like some of these people start. They just go to U-Haul and they rent a truck, and then they take a lawnmower and they buy some equipment, maybe with a credit card, or they get a partner. Hey, listen, I'm starting this business. I'm going to put these guys out there. We're going to do this, and I'll do all the work. I'll do all the scheduling. I'll do all the marketing, and we can split it with somebody. Or go to an existing guy. See, there's a guy that cuts ours every single Thursday. I know if I went to him, by the way, I did do this because that's why he's still here, because when we lived on the other side of Boca, I told him to come with me. Hey, you got a crew? Yeah. If I find accounts for you, if I go ahead and have Barry's Landscaping and I white label it, white labeling means the invoices, everything comes from Barry's Landscaping. I get on the phone and I just sit all day long. Doesn't cost me anything. Hey, Mr. Walmart, yeah, can I put a bid in on your services for landscaping? Okay. Mr. Smith, Mr. Johnson, Mr. So-and-so, I'd like to put a bid in. And all you've got to do is sit there and spend 6-7 hours a day calling people. Barry, where do I find the numbers? Well, they're on for sale signs. If I'm trying to sell my house, I want it to look as good as possible. Hey, you got somebody working on it? Yeah, but how much? Nobody signs a contract with a landscaper for the most part. And so you call and you find out, call the realtor. Hey, do you have other properties for sale? I'd like to bid. It's all about marketing. And so you spend a month doing that. So let's say you do 15 calls a day times 20 days, Monday through Friday, right? That's 350 calls. Is that right? 15 times 20, 300, 200, 300 calls. 300 calls in a month. 300 phone calls in a month. You're up there every single morning, bang, 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 bang. Maybe it takes you a while to get to 300 calls. If you absolutely suck, and you are the worst salesperson in history, and you only close 1% of those calls, one. How many people is that? That's 3 clients. That's 3 clients paying you X amount. Like our guy, he charges $80 a month. 3 clients, that's $240 a month. Well, Barry, that's nothing. Oh, then you got next month. And then you have the next month. But if you don't suck and you close 3%, now there's 9 people. Now you're making 9 times, $80, $600 a month, and so on. And you're only limited by how many people you could contact. All right, let's look at his next one. I hope there's some light bulbs going off. His next one here is pressure washing. Up and down driveways, decks. We've had to have our deck pressure washed. That's one guy with a machine. A machine that you probably get, at U-Haul or at your local grocery store until you have enough to buy your own. And you get the chemicals and everything else, and you just, again, flyers in the mailboxes, phone calls. Hey, I'm starting Barry's Pressure Wash Company. Would you like me to do pressure washing? So you strike out, and you really suck, and you only get 1% of people. You build on that. Plus, it's 1% more than you had last month. You just keep going. Here's one I never even heard of. Sign cleaning. This guy pressure washes signs. Never would have thought of this. Someone who pressure washes signs. Just saying. This one, carpet cleaning. Those of us who have pets, you have had to do carpet cleaning. And I can tell you straight off, you know for a fact that they rent these at the grocery store. They have a little section where you can rent these things. And you can get your first couple of jobs. And again, even if you're, affirmed and you can't do it, you can find someone to do it. You can show them, we're going to start a company together. I'll make the calls. You do the jobs. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do this stuff. This one. Truck washing. This guy goes out and he washes tractor trailers and RVs and all kinds of different things, and he washes the trucks. These guys are out there on the road driving. They don't have time for this. So he washes trucks. There's 2 or 3 people there scrubbing. One guy comes back in with the squirter and cleans the truck. I met someone who did this one. This one here was something. They started a janitorial service doing, look at it, he's cleaning the grout and everything. Commercial cleaning. This is a floor. The guy's got a machine scrubbing it and getting that grout cleaned. I can tell you from real estate, how many times I've had to hire somebody to come in and do exactly that. Don't need a PhD. You just need to learn how to use the machine. Very simple. Make $100,000 a year, at least. One of these dudes is doing $40,000 a month. I'm just saying, it's there. Barry, my husband, where's that? My husband used commercial floor buffer and started a janitorial business. We really made good money, and I was wanting a fishing pole reel, so Wax Hardware Store and got it. Yep, my friend does that. They wash graves in a graveyard. Do it. Again, you're only limited by how many you do. If you only need to do 10, shut up. You only need to do 10, do 10. If you need to do 20, do 20. You're only limited by what you want to do. There's nothing holding you back. Let's continue with what Mike has here. I never thought of this one. Number 7, line striping. Never knew anything. I guess you could have made good money during the Black Lives Matter thing and the Pride stuff, because they were painting all kinds of streets. Don't need a PhD. Don't need to know anything special. Just need to know how to load the machine, clean the machine, and use the machine. He's spraying that one. That's not even. We all could buy that from Home Depot. You're starting to let your creative juices flow at this point and realize if somebody can make $40,000 a month doing this, why can't you? That type of thing. I mentioned this yesterday. Home cleaning. Remember when I said Robin has a lady that comes to the house, but she works for an agency. We've never seen the guy. Never seen him. Don't know who he is. But we schedule through them, and then the lady shows up. Pretty simple. You could be the person on the other end of the phone. Hey, listen, we need someone to come by and clean our house. We like to have her come once a week. Yeah, once a week. And how much? $250? Great, thank you. And never see you. We see the lady that comes, but we don't see. But somebody had to put that together. They had to sit someplace, get a phone bank, figure out how we're going to get these clients. Because it wasn't like we knew them. You know how we found her? We found her because Robin, and she kept this company as we moved. she went next door, or she saw the lady coming out and said, "Hey, how do I hook up with you?" And she gave her card and everything else. Carpet, home cleaning. Easy, easy, easy. So, let me see what else he's got here. And then it's funny that when you look at these things, hold on, this guy commented and said, "You're spot on. It doesn't have to be a home service business. Over 3 years, we produced our web design service, creating a website as a service model. We're closing in on $150,000 per month in just 3 years post-launch. 95% of it, which is recurring revenue. Recurring revenue meaning his clients pay him every single month to update their website. You can do this from your home, non-services company too. Think outside the box a bit. To me, the path forward is human-centric services with AI as a powerhouse back office." You see, these things you can go ahead and start beginning to do, and you don't have to worry about AI. I just wanted to get the juices flowing here. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because I don't know how many people are actually interested in learning how to do this and wanting to go out there and grab it. But now's the perfect time with Trump in office and with what we're seeing happen. Forget the news. Go for it. Right now, you definitely need to go for it. Mike also put this out there and said, 3 things that don't matter: logo, website design, name your business. 3 things that do matter: systems, reputation, and automations. And focus on the needle movers. So if your your business is basically systems and reputation, and then whatever automations you can put in your system, it becomes pretty easy. A lot of work, but it's still easy. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to go to school for 4 years and learn nothing and end up coming out pouring coffee. You don't have to do that. Right now is the time for this to actually begin happening. We may not get this opportunity again. What else did he write here? I love this. I mean, I started following this guy. I'm like, this is the kind of kid that I definitely want to see. I don't subscribe to hustle culture. For me, it's all about lifestyle. $200,000 per year with 5 hours per week is greater than $500 per year with 60 hours per week. So this kid wants, his aspiration is to make $200,000 a year working 5 hours per week. Just saying. Let me just show you who he is. This is him. This guy right there. Young kid. Can't move it. It's there, baby. It's for the taking at this point. There's nothing holding you back. If this is the first time you've heard that, I want to let you know there is nothing holding you back. Let me check some things here. It's all about how much you want success. It's not just about how much you want success, how much you need to do. Because some people will see this video, and I'm just giving you a taste right now, a morsel, sort of like Oliver again. More, please. You need to be someone who's like, more, please. More, can I get more? It's almost like Christianity. You know, once you start digging into the Bible, you're like, more, please, more. And to satisfy that appetite is going to lead you to success. But then there's going to be a bunch of people who say, oh, that was a cool video, and just go back to whatever they were doing, and that's fine. But there are going to be some of you who are like, I need to hone in on this. God gave me technical skills. It's up to me to create success. Absolutely. If you have, that's a good one. If you have children or grandchildren, brainstorm with them. Yeah, they know what their friends, family are doing. I saw the other day someone has a pooper scooper business. Scoop the poop before your lawn care. I gotta find this. Wait a second. I gotta find it. I was behind a car a long time ago. Let me see if I can find it. And there was a car driving around saying, if it poops, we'll scoop. And I was like, that is so perfect. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Hold on. It won't let me because I'm not logged in. But yeah, the pooper scoop business, absolutely. I don't want to work. I'm too old. Okay. Ain't no, but the one thing you never want to do is twist someone's arm into a business. Like Jan, if I was talking to you and you said that, hey, well, great. I'm gonna go, and nice meeting you. I'm not gonna try and convince you, and I want you to know that what I'm telling you guys right now, I am not trying to convince anybody. I'm just laying it out there, and then it's up for you to begin looking. And if you want to know more information, email me or look some people up. I can tell you, you don't have to buy books. You don't have to do anything. YouTube is for free. And there's just so much information out there that you can do so much. You don't have to work. Your poop is my bread and butter. James said, I started investing in real estate when I was 24. I got involved in remodeling and construction. Yeah. My time is worth more than clocked hours on a job. I don't need to be a millionaire. I'm happy with $200,000 a year. Salute. Absolute. A friend takes street photos for her realtor's son. She makes her own hours. Yeah, man, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Again, think to yourself. You don't have to jump into anything. Don't buy any franchises. Just start looking. And where is this? And remember this. Remember that. Maybe I should fix this. Maybe I need to get it fixed. And then, hey man, someone should fix this. It's broken. I'll fix it. And just remember that. It really, and the other thing is money has friends. If you find something that makes sense and you can propose it in a good way, you'll find money. That's just it's it's all what you want to do. Barry sharing what many wouldn't share, and what some people would actually charge you for. Let's see here. Window washing, all you need is a bucket, squeegee, and a rag. So there's a troll in here. Oh, hey, Trump is the worst. Okay, yeah, let's find it. Hey, Gina, I find it inspirational. You know what? It's funny. We go down to the docks down here. There are boats everywhere. And one day we went down to the docks, and guys walking down the dock in a scuba gear. They're like, what are you doing? Well, there's a business where you jump in the water and you scrape off the barnacles. And Rob's like, yeah, we did that all the time back home. I'm like, oh, I'm a land guy. I have no idea that there is a business where people will jump in the water and scrub the bottom of a boat. Put on a scuba gear and sit there and scrub it. Makes great money. He said he can do 3 or 4 boats a day, and he loves being in the water. And he just brings his stuff in, jumps in. He's done. There's people who deliver food to the yachts. There's a business called yacht provisioning. You see, when you're in an area with a lot of seriously wealthy people, they don't want to do anything. Nothing. And so there are people who have yacht provisioning businesses. Hey, listen, I'm going to need apples and wine and blah, 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 blah. I'll go fetch and get it for you. And then some of these things can turn into billion-dollar businesses. Not that you'd be doing that, but that's how Uber and Uber Eats and DoorDash and all these things started. Understand this about our economy right now. You ready for this? The biggest hotel company in the world owns no rooms. That's Vrbo or Airbnb. Owns no rooms. The biggest taxi company in the world owns no taxis. You see where I'm going? The biggest food delivery company in the world owns no restaurants. Somebody sat back and went, wait a second, people want food. They like to have the convenience of picking up a phone or hitting an app and saying, bring me this. As I said before, if you put a gun to my head, I can't tell you the last time I was in a grocery store. Robin introduced me to this thing called Instacart. I'm like, what's that? What? Instacart? What? Oh, if you need something from the grocery store, wherever you are, you can log in online and say, bring me that, bring me that, bring me that, and here's an extra $2, bring it quicker. Okay. Instacart. I remember I traveled and it said which store when we were in North Carolina. I'm like, this one. Oh, we can order. We're going to bring it to you. So one of the biggest grocery companies in the world doesn't own any grocery stores. Start thinking like that. What can I do that will help people who want something that they just are too lazy or too busy to do? I don't like going to the grocery store and walking around and finding a place to park and boom, just do it. Last night, Robin's head, she wasn't feeling well. We had ordered in. Food was here in 15 minutes. Food delivery all the time. So I just wanted to tell you guys this and get your mind working on what the different things you could have and available to you, because I know not a lot of people are willing to spend the time and talk to people about that. And it doesn't have to be as convoluted as doing real estate. It can be the most simple of things. And taking the Instacart thing and Uber and Uber Eats and DoorDash further is that then they created cottage businesses where they're not even employees, they're independent contractors who will go deliver this stuff. Have you thought maybe driving for Uber Eats or driving for, one of these companies, Uber itself, and drive around if you feel safe, if you've got the vehicle? Right now, I'm telling you, with Trump in office right now, there is nothing stopping you from going for it and saying, okay, I'm done. I am going to research. I'm going to find out what I need to find out, and I'm going to do this. There's this one lady online who it was funny, she's one of the first live streamers, and now she has a live streaming consulting service where she will, for a fee, show you what camera you need, what lighting is, and all this kind of thing. She'll take a 3D version rendering of wherever your setup is and tell you what you need. And she gets paid for that. Never leaves her house. So, I paint pictures and murals that could bring in some money. You do it for fun, probably, not realizing how many people would pay you to come in and do a mural on their wall. You got a portfolio, sell that skill. Joseph said he's a door dasher on the side. Good going, man. Very good going. I started my business from home, worked several years, alterations, ready-made garments, and custom sewing. That's what I'm saying. The one thing about our community here is that there's probably somebody who's done something. And so when we get ready to log off here, you can talk to some people. You can talk to Brenda. So Brenda, I sew. I'm sitting here and watching, Jerry Springer reruns. I could do some alterations at home. Get paid for that. We even had, I remember when I worked in an office building, we had a guy who would pick up laundry and take it to the dry cleaners, and then when it was cleaned a couple days ago, would deliver it back to the office. And he got paid. Here's the biggest business. You really want to make some money? We had a guy who washed cars at our office building. And he would charge you $90 or $100 for a car to detail it. And he would walk in, the receptionist right there, and they would announce, hey, so-and-so's here to do detailing today. Anybody wants, come on down, put your keys in the thing. And he would do 10 cars in a day. It's $1,000. Just washing cars. One of my good friends who I work with at an advertising agency, her son now has a mobile detailing business. Making more money than if he had went to college. Because people down here in Boca don't like to do anything. They're like, hey, go wash my car. Oh, here's one for you. Here's one for you. Especially down here. I don't know where you live. Valet service. Again, you don't have to be the one parking and running the cars. You're just the one calling the restaurants. Hey, listen, I noticed you get a good crowd on Friday, Saturday night. Would your customers like valet service? And every restaurant's the first thing they say, what's going to cost me? Nothing. We'll just allow us to park the cars. We'll take care of it. Oh. Then see how much money, because every time we go to this one restaurant, it's $10 every time you walk out. Boom, $10. Everybody, some people throw $20 down. How many cars in a night you think they do at that one location? 50? Some places in cities where there's no place to park, rent a lot, and then do the valet, and then just have the people run back and forth. I could sit here and just go over idea after idea, because you know how I'm coming up with these ideas? I'm just talking to you about what I've seen and what happens with stuff that we do. So if you sat back and went, oh yeah, I ordered this, I do that. What stopped me from doing this and this and doing that? Nothing. Knowledge. Valet? The only thing you got to pay with valet is probably the sign and insurance. And maybe uniforms. Put people in a shirt. Let's see here. I don't have a car anymore before I've been unemployed for too long. Well, hacker, now it's time. You got a guy in there who's doing everything to be as friendly as possible with business. And now it's time. Now it's time. Let's see here. Casinos, valet park. If you have casinos, they have plenty of jobs. Yep. My son-in-law takes professional pictures at an amusement park and makes $3,000. Wow, that's a fantastic idea. Take a picture of people on the rides. Oh my goodness. All right. Muriel says, let's try again. Okay, where'd that say? What did Muriel say? Oh, let's try again. Talented and flexible home handymen are amazing. I recommend my handyman to many that find me on neighborhood website. All are happy clients. Yeah. All right, so I just wanted to bring that to you, and you guys can begin chewing on that, seeing what you may want to do, may not want to do. It may not be your cup of tea. And you can decide how you'd like to move forward or not. Again, nobody's pushing you to do anything you don't want to do. When I decided I was going to talk about this today, it's Easter, Easter weekend. Not much going on, and I figured, you know what? Let me just this would be a good time to talk to people about different things that they could do, and mostly, and I really do mean this, mostly to let you guys know the opportunities that are available to you. A lot of people won't talk about different opportunities, and they don't even think about it. But now as we're sitting here talking as a group, you guys know, wow, there's some opportunity here. All right, so let me look at the super chat. Wait, do I have to click the button here or anything else here? I think that's it right now. All right, so we're going to go play some cards, some poker. Let me go ahead and do the super chats. All right, so what did I do here? Did I not? Okay, there we go. Good Ricta, thank you. Cobra Crew Chief, thank you. Buddy Sanders, how many millions of taxpayers' dollars are being wasted by our corrupt judicial system? A lot. A lot. Tin Lee, RFK has to shut off the ads for MSM quickly. President Trump can't take them forever. Just do it, I hope he does it soon. Hi, Gina. Thank you very much. Dwayne Drewer, thank you, Barry, for all you do. Watch daily from Canada. Please don't hold Trudeau to Carney against me. Never voted for them. Really enjoy that you speak truth. Thank you. Gina again, wishing all fanfare a blessed Easter. You as well, everyone. Barry, when reading the whole thing, this ruling will help set up some guardrails from filing frivolous lawsuits, injunctions like the ACLU. Exactly, Maximus. Marco Blankenship, thank you. Trumpinator, Barry, they will do anything to stop Trump. They could care less about the law nor the Constitution. Democracy is a lie. What they want is a dictatorship. I can see that. Idiot Burger needs to stop and be put in Gitmo. Yeah, I could go for that too. Job for 9. They have stolen our money with the jab. They threatened us with everything under the sun. They treat being a U.S. citizen equal with MS-13. Trump knew this could and possibly would happen. He will do what must be done. You realize what that might be? Unplugging is how this country got messed up like it is. Trumpinator. Maximus, Barry, can you please help me to figure out a way to do police work from my recliner? You have to hire like a robot and teach the robot how to shoot and catch bad guys. There you go. But I'm sure you can do some private investigating stuff from your recliner. Or you could like maybe gun safety course. Do you know that they charge for like $200 for a gun safety course? Sonia Brown, the QR code for giveaways doesn't work in Canada. I will make sure we get that taken care of. Hey Vera, what is Pastor JJ's website so I can join him tomorrow morning? It's Thrive Living, thriveliving.org, I believe. Thrive Living. Chapo, I've had dozens of businesses. I started with 500 or less. One of my businesses is garbage removal. I actually make money from garbage. It's not hard. I can't tell you how many houses I purchased that were absolute trash. And, I mean, literally trash throughout the house, and people had to call people to come get it. Mr. Anderson, where'd that go? I worked full-time, had a side business installing heating, air conditioning, hired my friends at $40 an hour, made a killing with bonuses for my laborers. Well done. Maximus, Barry, once things slow down at work and I can retire again, I will start my business of personal training and nutrition for older adults. That's right, you did tell me that. You told me that'd be a good job. I mean, good business. Chuck Chambers, sounds like he made them flood the zone by making them file 94 separate filings. Oh, yeah. Neo, thanks, Barry. Great show and advice. Happy Easter. Thanks for Heath, thanks for booking Chicago Flips Red. So Chicago Flips Red is we're going to do an interview. I just got to get the technology put in place because we're going to be doing, I think it's 3 people on the screen at once, and we're going to figure out how to make that happen, because that would be very interesting. I've never done that before, to have 3 people all talking. So we're going to do that probably next week or so. Yeah, maybe that. We'll get that done. What else do I have here for you? Did I download this video? Wait a second. I want to see something. Yes. All right. So I got a final video for you. And this video being night before Easter, I wanted to play this for everybody, and then I'll play this, and then I'll go to the after party. Mary Boston says, I got Enemy Within on Salem now. It's a must-see. Ooh, yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so perfect. So I want you, as we go into Easter week, I'm going to listen to it with you, even though I saw it. I want you to listen to this because just like with a business, tomorrow we're all going to be celebrating Easter, and there's a lot of people who think you need a lot of different things in order to qualify. You need to qualify to get into heaven. And I saw this sermon, I think Glenn Beck put it up, and I think it's just awesome. Take a listen to this, and I'll start the after party right after.
Ask him, how did that shake out for you? Because you were... And if you were to die tonight and you were getting entry into heaven, what would you say? If you answer that, and if I answer it in the first person, we've immediately gone wrong. Because I believed, because I have faith, because I am this, because I am continuing. Loved ones, the only proper answer is in the third person, because he. Think about the thief on the cross. And what an immense, I can't wait to find that fellow one day to ask him, how did that shake out for you? Because you were cussing the guy out with your friend. You'd never been in a Bible study. You never got baptized. You didn't know a thing about church membership, and yet you made it. You made it. How did you make it? That's what the angel must have said. You know, like, what are you doing here? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, because I don't know. Well, you know, excuse me, let me get my supervisor. They go get the supervisor ranger. So, we're just a few questions for you. First of all, are you clear on the doctrine of justification by faith? The guy said, I never heard of it in my life. And what about, let's just go to the doctrine of Scripture immediately. This guy's just staring. And eventually in frustration, he says, on what basis are you here? And he said, the man on the middle cross said, I can come. Now, that is the only answer. That is the only answer.
And, yeah, that's the only answer. Remember that tomorrow when everyone's talking about this and that and the other thing. The guy in the middle cross said, come on. That's the answer. Talk to you guys tomorrow.